Past the rest and tuned to the source. WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
The only show with an ever-changing theme song. Hey, this is not bad.
No, it sounds like it's going to turn into like...
It's getting better. It's getting better.
40 kind of pop song.
Yeah. Bob Kennedy is here. You can still hear it even without your headset on?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm probably hearing the feed.
Oh, okay. It's not a bad piece of music for a real estate show.
No.
If you're moving into a Jetsons kind of a house, maybe. Bob Kennedy is here from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, and every week we have a different theme song for Bob. It's kind of a running gag. I don't know how that started. It just did. And well, I think it started because you weren't happy with the music we picked, and I've never really settled on one. So
I think that's exactly what happened.
It was dated, kind of, I think.
It did. It sounded like a 1970s sitcom or something like that.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
From the 50s or something
But we never run short. There's always something interesting.
There's always another one. Yeah,
I like it.
It's
I like
amazing. So if you have any questions about buying or selling a home, and Bob has a topic today, real estate scams. So I want to dig into that a little bit because there was one last year with this veteran here in Florida, too. I think it was South Florida.
Yeah.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How have you been?
Wonderful.
Got any Mother's Day plans?
No. Mm-mm.
Just staying home?
Yeah, we might go down to St. Pete, but no.
Is your mom still alive?
No, she's not. And my wife says, I said, do you want me to get you something for Mother's Day? And she says, I'm not your mom. So,
that's right.
Which still means I have to get something.
I was going to say, I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. But just a thought. So you were telling about scams, and on your list you have a couple of them, and one of them is squatters. And there was a story last year of a guy in the service. I can't remember what branch. He was in Iraq. He got a call from somebody saying, somebody's living in your house. This is South Florida. Where? What do you mean somebody's living in my house? Yeah. So anyway, there was a man and a woman. And they were horrible. I mean, they would they were trashing the place. They were living in it, but they didn't keep it up at all. And they had the hardest time getting them out.
They were trespassing.
What is that about?
Well, it's a scam. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And people are always looking for an easy way. And you find a house that's vacant, they can fabricate paperwork saying they have a right to be there. But once they're in there, you have to go through the process to get them out. And if they fight that process, it's going to take longer. And the house is not usually left in pristine condition.
So how does somebody get forced out of a house when they foreclose? I mean, let's say it's really their house. Mm-hmm. They came into hard times, couldn't make the mortgage payments. They're out.
They're out on the street, no choice.
The eviction process in Florida takes a long time because of the foreclosure process. So in the scenario you're talking about, somebody could have lived in a house, and we saw this a lot during the massive recession. People, in most cases, couldn't pay it. Some were scamming the system. That's where the scam comes in. But they could live in a house for up to 2 years without making a payment, and then when they're finally foreclosed on, then they're served with an eviction notice. And if they don't leave, then like any eviction, the sheriff will show up and they'll physically move everything out of the house. But it got so bad that the banks during the foreclosure crisis, they realized it was in their best interest to pay the people to leave the house.
Oh, really?
They'd keep them in the house and have them trash it before they left.
Oh,
wow,
crazy!
God, it's hard to believe
Called
this.
cash for keys.
pay.
Yeah,
Cash for keys.
Yeah.
All right, I want to go back to the scam, but before I do that, can I ask you something that maybe more people can relate to? Because I don't know how many people actually have had squatter problems.
No,
but I
they
do.
don't.
I do have a question about it. But more common is this one, I think. if somebody is behind in their mortgage payments,
Yes.
and the bank starts foreclosure proceedings, and then I got a job. Can you please stop the foreclosure proceedings? Can they stop? Like, can you make a deal with the bank saying, look, I was in hard times. I got a job now. I should be able to clear this up in 6 months.
Most times, yes.
They'll work with them.
They don't want the banks. The banks, by and large, don't want the property back. Okay, so they'll want to work with you. The issue becomes if you're so far behind that the foreclosure has been filed and it's moving its way through the court system. And in Florida, it's very slow because we're a judicial foreclosure state. Then you'll probably have to hire an attorney to help you with it, but you will get it stopped.
Well, that would be good news. I mean, because everybody's not trashing homes. I mean, it sounds like there's more than we believe, than we realize.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. Yeah. Topic of conversation.
And we do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. If you start that process soon enough before papers are filed by the bank, what they can do is add the missing payments to the back end of the mortgage, and you just start off with instead of having to make up 6 payments, you just start off with a payment, and your mortgage just goes 6 months longer than it had normally gone. There's a word for that, but I forgot what it was.
Okay.
But,
There's several different remedies that you work out with some of these situations, and that certainly is one of them.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day, all.
All right.
Well,
thank you. Good point.
So it sounds like some people already have some solutions if you're really serious about trying to help yourself.
There's a lot of there's remedies in place, less and less, but there's less and less need also.
What was the Craigslist scam? I'm trying to read your handwriting here. Craigslist.
A lot of times, scammers will find a house for sale on Craigslist and then start advertising it for rent, and they'll collect security deposits from people. Of course.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
my gosh.
And sometimes they'll even go and change the locks on the house. So they'll meet them at the house, say, "Oh, you like this?" and they'll get payment from people, and then
Really?
they disappear. Sometimes.
How do they get a key to? How do they get a key to get the
Well,
key?
they can break it. They're not. I don't think they're calling the locksmith, but the.
Okay, so has this ever happened to you in any of the houses you were handling?
Well, they've tried. I think most people in town, if they run ads on Craigslist, will have gotten scammed at one point or another. And we notify once because you don't get one phone call, you get like 15 phone calls from people that want the house. And it's like, uh-oh. So we'll contact Craigslist, they'll stop the ad. And, we tell the people, look, don't do it. I mean, but there's all kinds of stories. I mean, sometimes they'll have broken in a back door and they'll tell the people in the front, wait a minute, let me go around back, and they'll come around. I mean, they're crooks. They're ruthless, and people are.
So do they get rent or just the deposit?
Depends, I'm sure it's happened both ways.
Wow.
But yeah,
Wow.
There was a guy, I think it was in the Orlando area, that had rented out a bunch of houses that he didn't own.
Oh my gosh.
And he was collecting rents.
He's in jail now?
Geez.
I would
Probably.
hope, I would hope,
Or spent
But
on-
but he he was collecting rents
The people
on
actually
vacant
moved in.
houses. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's crazy, right?
Wow.
So people living in other people's houses. So those people who think they're paying the right people,
Right.
the actual landlord, they get the rug pulled out from under them.
Eventually, yeah, because it's there's no they don't have a legal document to be.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So they have to leave.
The other scam you wrote down here is the tax deed, getting a bill in the mail for your tax deed. What is that?
Most people, when you go to your closing, most title companies will tell you in a couple weeks you're going to get your deed in the mail once it's filed with the courthouse. Well, almost everybody lately is getting something in the mail from, it looks very official, looks very government-like, saying, send us a check for $50, $100 to record your deed. And that's a complete scam.
Oh,
It's done
wow.
for free. it's very easy to fall for because it looks official and you're thinking, well, I just bought the house. I have to get my deed. And in that moment, that's what these guys are preying on, that you take that 5 seconds. And the reason I put that on there was about 10 days ago, a young couple that had just bought a house, they had texted me and asked me about that, and I said, that is a scam. Do not pay it. Throw it away.
Really?
Yeah.
gee.
I think everybody, I think a lot of people that are buying homes lately have gotten that one in the mail.
Oh, wow.
You know what happened to us? We have a website, robinandthegiant.com. I don't know if you know that we do that. But anyway, somebody was using our email to send invoices to people. I mean, for like $13,000.
Yeah.
And the reason I found this out was because I was getting these email, like bounced emails that said, sorry, undeliverable. And I go, I never sent. Why? Oh my gosh, $13,000. Why would I be asking somebody for $13,000? So I wrote a letter to the people we get the website through, and I said, I think we've been hacked. And long story short, he wrote back, the guy who he or she wrote back and said, well, fortunately, you were not hacked. You just have the box unchecked that says anybody, I guess, anybody can use my email. I guess I never checked the thing or unchecked it.
Yeah,
That
who would
sounds
think
a-
to
that-
look for something like that?
That sounds a little weird.
Yeah, well, I might be telling it to you wrong, but it was
No,
it was
but I mean-
something as simple as a box I didn't check or I did check or something
Yeah, it
like
sounds
that.
like they should have a little bit better control over their
really.
over the people that are paying for their
Exactly.
their email. through.
Exactly. But anyway, so he or she said, fortunately, we checked it for you or unchecked whatever they needed to do, and I don't get those emails anymore. But can you imagine if somebody gets that email, and the email didn't matter because the way you would pay this fake bill was by clicking on something or something. I don't know how they did it.
There's,
Yeah.
It's cyber crime.
Yes, and they were using us for it. We don't want anything from anybody. No. Except we want you to stay tuned. That's all we want.
That's right.
Let's see what kind of outro music we have for the break. Oh, nice. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back with Bob Kennedy. Nice. Not bad. All right. If you want to call Bob, this is a good time to call. The number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Friday will be bright and sunny and beautiful with low humidity. The high 74 to 78. Clear Friday night and quite comfortable. Low 51 in a few inland spots, 58 at the coast. Saturday, sunny and becoming a bit warmer. High 79 at the coast, 83 inland. For Sunday, mostly sunny and even warmer. High 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Every day, millions of seniors struggle with cancer, arthritis, and other rare diseases. They rely on Medicare Part B for access to their doctor and life-saving medicines. Shockingly, the Obama administration has proposed a misguided experiment to Medicare, and it could be devastating. Government bureaucrats could manipulate your course of treatment. Access to new breakthrough treatments may be restricted. Local clinics could be forced to close, requiring some patients to travel significant distance and forcing others into hospitals for their care. Over 300 patient and provider groups have called on Congress to stop this experiment, and Congress needs to listen. Senator Bill Nelson has always protected Florida seniors. Call Senator Nelson at 202-224-5274 or go to stopcmscuts.com. Urge him to stand up for Florida seniors and stop the Medicare Part B experiment. Paid for by the Community Oncology Alliance.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new
Yep,
trunk.
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show, too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
All right, 11 minutes before 10 o'clock. Bob Kennedy is here from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty. Let's talk about the fun part of what you do. Are there any amenity? I don't know if amenity is the right word, but like we have, in coming up on Mother's Day, we have, what do you call that again?
Symphony Under
we just
the
talked about
Stars.
Symphony Under the Stars.
Right,
So
yes.
do those kinds of things help to sell a house? Like somebody's moving into town, not somebody who's moving in town and staying in town. But somebody moving in from another state, they're considering, should I move to Ocala or Orlando, or you know what I mean? They're trying to decide. Does that conversation happen between you and the potential buyer?
For events?
Yeah, the type of things. I don't know if you call them amenities, but in the town itself.
Sure, people
like a swimming pool or.
Well, some people. Well, obviously you have some subdivisions that have certain amenities that are going to appeal to people. For instance, Four Ranch is a planned community, so they have the pools, they have the clubhouses, the walking trails, things like that. Schools are the big thing that most people coming into the area with school-age kids want to know about that.
Golf courses, are they big?
Golf courses are big. They, if people have a certain, if they like certain charities or like certain things, YMCA is a big draw.
So how do you know what their interests are? You
just talk to them.
You just have a conversation and it comes up?
Yeah. So usually it'll be something along the lines of you're talking to them and the conversation turns to certain things they like to do, and you can point out things in different areas of town that they have access to for those things.
Would your job have been different if they had built the Yankee Stadium thing that they were going to build? Like, would there have been certain people who said, I love baseball, that's why I'm moving to this town because of that?
Well, honestly, that stadium proposal, and I'm a big baseball fan, so maybe I'm a little prejudiced. I think it would have been cool.
Yeah.
But the league that would play there is in the summer, and they play in the afternoon. And I don't care how much you love baseball to sit in Florida outside in July and watch baseball games. It's not drawing tons of people. Now, if it was spring training, that's a different story. If you look down in Port St. Lucie where the Mets are, they basically gave them the land for their spring training because they were building a monstrous development all around it, and they knew that would be a draw.
So that's this.
Spring training is going to attract a lot of people.
And that's with the main teams. This would have been a farm team.
Yeah, this would have been a farm team, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it would have been great for the community, but it wasn't going to be a job creator or it wasn't going to draw a lot of people.
Right,
I don't think.
And we do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Bob Kennedy.
Yes, good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Do you ever suggest to a client that's trying to sell their home through yourself to have it professionally checked over by a professional service, to make sure that everything is up to par? Do you ever do that, or would it be a good idea to do that and have the certification of that on paper to show possible buyers that the house has been checked out and everything is up to par?
That's a great comment, because every sale of a home is going to include a home inspection. Even though it's not required, I can't imagine any reason for a home buyer not to do a home inspection. So there are people that do a home inspection prior to putting their house on the market, so that if there are any issues, I won't say defects, but any issues they have to deal with, they could get them taken care of ahead of time. So if you have, a leak somewhere, or you have a plumbing, you got a problem under a sink or whatever, all those things are addressed, and then there won't be any surprises going forward.
If you happen to have somebody that would purchase your home and you have done this, you're probably saving them a couple $100, $200, $300 to have that service done, right?
Well, you can, but in all honesty, if say it was your house for sale and you had that done and I had the buyer, I would still strongly suggest that the buyer have their own home inspection done, just to be on the safe side.
So you'd have to go with a different inspector.
Yeah, you'd go with you could go with the same one, but most people would bring in somebody different.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, excellent point. Excellent point.
If a person has a home business, does that limit where they can have their home, or does zoning not matter if you're not doing manufacturing out of your house?
Well, every time they bust somebody for making meth at home, that's a bad thing. But most places you're allowed to operate a home business. A lot of deed-restricted communities will not allow a home business. Mm-hmm. So you want to be careful. But if you have 90% of home-based businesses in Marion County are fine.
Because most people don't need people to drive up to the, like if you don't have a lot of cars outside, you don't have the UPS guy coming every hour.
Yeah, you're not cutting hair.
Yeah.
You're not seeing clients.
Most people are doing internet businesses these days, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. You know, where
nobody would even know you were doing it, really.
No. But again, virtually everywhere you're allowed to do it. Yeah.
Have any houses you want to showcase?
Well, from here. I'm going up to one that we have over in Fore Ranch, over in Saddle Creek 1.
That's a nice area.
Yeah, 4-bedroom. Well, actually, it's a 3-bedroom with a den and 2-bath. Everything's been upgraded: granite countertops, flooring, carpeting, all that stuff. The owner is being transferred up to Atlanta. And that's $179, which is a pretty hot price for in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This is probably not really a real estate question, but do the roads there follow the same naming patterns as they do in Ocala? Like, I know where Robin is, even way out there, you can still count the roads, but you can still use the same system. But I know in Silver Spring Shores, they have, like, you know,
trace and loop,
trace, circle,
and
loop, yeah, kind of
run,
funny
course
names.
Well, they have they're all 4 Ranch is all numbered. Okay,
Does it follow the same system that Ocala is?
It depends. I think it does, but back when I had my old Garmin. Some of those roads were new and it didn't exactly take you everywhere.
Didn't know.
But on the maps, like on the iPhone maps and stuff, it gets you wherever you need to be. So I think it does. I think it was platted out pretty well.
Did I tell you about the Italian wedding that Robin and I did?
No.
Oh, they had great soup.
Yeah.
No. Besides that, we used the Garmin to get there, and it was a gated community, and the Garmin took us to the gate that didn't allow guests.
Yeah.
And so it was like, now what do we do? So we left and tried to find another entrance, and the Garmin lady kept saying, when possible, make a U-turn. And I kept thinking, well, we can't find isn't there an alternative? Well, fortunately, we found another entrance. And
I think that Garmin lady has lost her job to Siri. I think the maps today are a little bit better than the old GPS ones. Because I've gone to places where they want you to drive through a gated community to get to the community behind it.
Oh,
my
and there
gosh.
was really,
no.
well, I can't do that. They won't let me in unless I have an address.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny.
Oh my! So do we have problems like that right here in Ocala?
Not
Where
too
you have
much.
to.
No. No.
Isn't that kind of unusual to drive?
Yeah, it
through
is
one
unusual.
community
No,
to
I'm
another?
telling. That's what I mean. The Garmin was a great invention there for a couple of years, but it's kind of been, technology moves quick, right?
There was a guy I was watching last night. He was on. I was watching a video on YouTube, but it was the Tonight Show interview. It was Jimmy Fallon talking to this guy, and I don't know the guy's name, but he has made a name for himself doing a podcast. Okay, out of his garage, and the president was his guest, but the president didn't want to call in. He wanted to be there. So about a week beforehand, I guess the Secret Service had to come out and stake out the whole neighborhood. So I wonder how they do that. I wonder how because the president has visited Ocala. And people don't know this. This is something we know because we know the doctor who he visited. And the Secret Service had to do the same thing. The perimeter houses, they had to have Secret Service on the roof. Can you imagine that?
That's pretty intense. Could you? I mean, they probably have to take over the communications of the house. And everything.
Everything. Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing what they can do, and the precautions that need to be taken.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Well, you have a great Mother's Day weekend. Hopefully you enjoy what you're doing.
Yes,
or just
thank
do
you.
nothing. Enjoy the weather.
The weather.
Do you like the beach? What is your go-to activity? You like golf?
I don't golf. I fish once in a while. Sometimes I'll go to the beach. I'm learning to like the beach a little bit more. I'm a city boy.
Do you like Tropicana Field?
I like it because you don't have to sit out there and sweat through a game.
Right.
But it's different because it's kind of it's just kind of a different feel than an outdoor stadium,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
people are pretty laid back. They don't get big crowds either, which
Because of the team right
because of
now.
it's just a tough place to draw, but I like it. I do like it.
Always good to see you, Bob. Thank you so much. Bob Kennedy, Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
We'll be right back.
News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The number of new jobs created in April hitting a 7-month low.
Unemployment rate held steady at 5% as expected, but the Labor Department says the number of non-farm jobs increased by 160,000, the fewest number of jobs created in 7 months and below the expected 200,000 new jobs.